Hello, everybody. This is going to be a little interesting for me because somehow our laptop got a big crack across the screen, and so I'm using my iPad, and the camera is off to the left-hand side. So I have, if I look over here, I'm not really looking at you. The camera's over here, so you'll just have to figure it out because I haven't learned how to look at the camera and not keep looking over here. So today we're going to, and that brings us to this very interesting thing. Today we're going to talk about, as I said last week, we're going to start doing different discussions, and I like discussions. So if any of you have any comments, anything like that, please let me know. So I like to talk to people, not screens, so I don't even know who's out there. But we're going to discuss, and because but is not a good thing. Well, some buts aren't good things. So we're going to discuss the 7 laws that control the universe. Now, one of the really popular ones is the law of abundance. And that is, we're going to discuss that later on because there are basically 7 principles, 7 laws that control really the whole universe. When I first heard that, it really caused my paradigm to stretch because I did not believe that. And so it took me a long time to figure that out. But actually, it is what I have found in my life to be the truth. So I'm going to hold these up for you so that you can write them down. I will read them afterwards, but at least you can see them, I think. So if you ever want to go back and look at them. The 7 laws are: 1 is thought, the next is perception, choice and accountability, cause and effect, abundance and gratitude, health and healing, harmony and rhythm. And there is really no one better than the other. The reason thought is first because without thought, we don't have a world. We don't have a reality. Our thoughts control everything we do, and therefore everything that goes on in our life is because of things that we thought. Now, that brings into a lot of different ideas and thought processes, and those are called, what we're going to talk about today, perceptions or paradigms. Perceptions or paradigms are things that we are taught along our way. They're not hardwired into us. We, through our first years as youngsters, when we are, according to psychologists, first 5 or 6 years, we determine a lot of who we think we are and how we see the world. And then it progresses along, and we begin to believe what we think about ourselves, and therefore our subconscious makes that happen, and it's all kind of it's a long process. It's a short process because it doesn't take very long, but it's long to talk about, so we won't talk about that here. Maybe on another discussion, or we'll get a little deeper into it, but today we're just going to talk about perception. One of the most, and as leaders, perception is really everything, because the way we perceive our ways of thinking is not always the way other people perceive the world. And so when we teach or lead, we have to be able to see many different ideas. Now, the reason I haven't done video or a YouTube in some time is one of them was perception. My perception of life is what I call reality, but then again, everybody has their own realities because of what we perceive. I am, I guess, I'm a optimistic pessimist, I guess. I don't know. Uh, I tend to see the glass, as I've said earlier, as half full because it is. You know, I mean, if it's a quarter full, it's a quarter full. And then you can either do two things with the glass. You can either dump it out, you can fill it up. And that is where perception comes in. The way you go from the glass half full, what you do with after that is all about our perceptions of life. Now, for example, I had a really good example in my mind, and then it went away. Can you believe that? I can't. But let's, perception. What could be a perception? Okay, we live on this beautiful island, right? I mean, it's called paradise for a reason. And today, in my perception, it is paradisical, as Becca would say. Whether that's a word or not, I don't know. It's beautiful. The sun's out. The wind is not really blowing. Of course, that makes it hot up in the condo. And that, again, is a perception, right? Some people like it hot. I don't tend to like the sweat. So there again is perception. Other people I talked to from Oregon, the other day, it was rainy and cold here, which it switches back and forth, especially on this side of the island that we're on. Now, he loved it because it reminded him of his home in Oregon. Rainy, little chilly, wind blowing. That's the kind of coast he's used to. So his perception said that that was ideal temperature. His wife from Southern California had a different perception. She perceived that she did not like that weather. She came here for the sun and the not chilly, rainy coast. Now, did the coast change? No. Did the island change? No. So the reality, the fact is, the island is the island. The reality of each person changed because of how they saw the world. And because of how we see the world, that's how we direct our doings and sayings in our world. So, I tend to sometimes, what we call in the psychological world, get triggered in, which means that if basically if I don't get what I want, at least I think what my subconscious mind thinks I want, then I get real sullen and kind of depressive and not really a nice person. This in turn triggers in my wife, Becca, as some of you know, because her perception of that is that it's not a good thing. She's happy and joyful and all of that good stuff. So then she perceives that I'm unhappy with her. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And therefore she does whatever she does that triggers her. And therefore I get triggered more and we get into this vicious cycle. And it's all because of perception. Now, because we understand this, I can do two different things. I can either stay in that spiral, or I can get out of that spiral by changing my mind, because I'm the only one that can change my mind. In reality, she can't do anything to me that hurts me. The world can't do anything to me unless that I feel pain from, unless my subconscious tells me that. So we determine our own reality, and therefore we determine the patterns that our lives are in. And so, as the old saying goes, Wherever we go, there we are. So we can run, we can hide, but we can't hide from ourselves. So as leaders, when we start to realize these things about ourselves, we can help those we're leading and maybe even change our perspectives, maybe even widen our paradigms to accept some of the things they're seeing in their realities that might even be better than what we're having in our realities. And we can therefore, just by changing our thoughts, change our reality. And as you help them change their realities, you get what you want, they get what they want, everybody's happy. So, that's perception. You can take it, and you will take it however you want. And you can change that perception if you desire. See you later. Bye-bye. Now I got to figure out, oh, this is how, because it's not my rate one, I got to figure out how to turn this on. Okay.